Good evening, everyone. So, there are about 6.5 thousand native plant species here in California, and these are, of course, essential for the ecosystems and natural processes that we have, of course, in California. And about 250 of these are considered endangered by California law, according to both the California Endangered Species Act and the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And despite all of the native species that we have in California, there is a large amount of just turf grass that is being used instead of any other plant, any other thing that could make a lawn look more diverse. And this may be because a lot of nursery plants are non-native and some of these are even invasive. Many of these also require higher amounts of maintenance, involving higher amounts of water use, which is not helpful in terms of water conservation efforts here in California due to droughts and related issues. These can also require a lot more fertilizers and pesticides, which are also significantly more expensive over a long-term period. And of course, a lot of these plants are not adapted to California's climate, which can also make it more difficult to actually keep them alive, of course, again, in the long term. These plants are also not necessarily ideal habitats for native animals in California, which makes it more difficult for those animals to actually find a home and reproduce and maintain their population. And depending on the plant that is used in landscaping, it can actually disrupt the ecosystem as a whole, such as in some invasive plant species, such as the English ivy, which has notoriously taken over a good chunk of California land. On the flip side, native plants are significantly more sustainable according to the California Department of Water Resources. These can often require minimal maintenance, meaning less water, less fertilizers, and less pesticides are being used, which in turn are less expensive, which is very useful to have. Other wildlife can also be other wildlife is often more adapted to this plant, as well as the plant itself being resistant to the droughts that we often have in California. And because other wildlife is adapted to native plants, of course, that would also mean that they have easier access to either food or habitats they're already accustomed to, which could prevent the endangerment of native species, plant and animal alike, while also fostering biodiversity in the ecosystems that we have in California that happen to be declining. A lot of the endangered plants are conserved in botanical gardens, but it could be very useful to eventually bring those out of botanical gardens into landscaping, which would require a large amount of effort with regard to cultivation and propagation. However, I believe that this effort would be highly worthwhile because it would, of course, bring back some of the diversity that we have lost over time, while also becoming more and more sustainable in terms of landscaping as it promotes the idea of using native plant species in landscaping. This means that overall, that you're not only helping to save the environment, but you're also saving your own money and your own time with stuff like maintenance and water, etc.